Hi, third graders. Welcome to lesson 16.1, Telling Time. Hopefully you all had a chance to watch the introduction video last Friday that kind of went over some things that hopefully you learned in second grade. So we're just going to move right in to telling time. Our objectives for this lesson are to be able to tell time to the minute and read time on a digital clock. We can probably do that very easily. A digital clock, we've all seen lots of digital clocks, and a lot of us have those at our houses. It's more important that we are able to read time on an analog clock, which is what this clock is called, an analog clock. Okay, so this picture of the clock is showing us the minute hand. Remember, the minute hand is the long one. The hour hand is the short one. The minute hand is the long one. And this minute hand is pointing at the 1. And as we know, when we go around the clock, each number stands for 5 minutes. So we can count by fives all the way around our clock. So this one's pointing right here at the 1. And that is where we start counting. When we're counting by fives, that is. So notice there are also little tiny lines in between each number, and each of those little lines stands for 1 minute. So notice here, this little section, if the minute hand was right here, that would be 1 minute, and then 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then we'd be over here on the 1 at 5 minutes. Okay, down below it says students are in the auditorium at 9:20 a.m. for an assembly. Hopefully you remember a.m. is all of our morning activities. So that is from 12 o'clock midnight. That's when a.m. starts, and it goes all the way up to 12 o'clock noon. So we can see on this analog clock, the time is showing us the hour is 9. Notice the hour hand is in between the 9 and the 10. That means the hour is 9. And the minutes, it's pointing at the 4, and we know that we would count by fives. So 5, 10, 15, 20. So that's what 9:20 would look like on our analog clock that we all have in our classrooms. And then this is 9:20, of course, on a digital clock. Notice when we write time, we have these 2 little dots, also called a colon, that goes in between the hour and the minutes. And this girl is saying it is 20 minutes after 9 o'clock. And then her friend says you can also say the time is 20 minutes past 9. Okay, so there's lots of different ways that we can say what time it is. We could say it's 9:20, it's 20 minutes after 9, it's 20 minutes past 9, or we could even get real fancy and say it's 40 minutes to 10. All right, at 7:40 p.m., a group of people visit the community center for a charity dinner. Notice they're having dinner, it's p.m., so that's from 12 o'clock noon all the way to 12 o'clock midnight is our p.m. Those are all of our afternoon and evening activities happen in the p.m. Okay, so we can see on our analog clock, here is our hour hand, the red one. It's in between the 7 and the 8, so that means it is still in the hour of 7, and our blue minute hand is on the 8. We know counting by fives, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So this analog clock is showing us the time 7:40. And our little helper friends are telling us different ways that we could say 7:40. One thing we could say is the time is, well, 7:40. That's what she says. We know that one. Now, notice our helper friend over here is saying 60 minus 40 equals 20. So we know that the whole way around the clock is 60 minutes, right, guys? So from the time that the minute hand is up on the 12, for it to go all the way back up to the 12 is a total of 60 minutes, since we know there are 60 minutes in an hour. So if we were to start here on the 8 and count how many minutes is it going to be until the next hour, we would count 5, 10, 15, 20. And he's telling us 60 minus 40 is 20. So that means that in 20 minutes from this time, it's going to be the next hour, which would be 8. So it is 20 minutes before 8 o'clock. And then this guy says, you can also say the time is 20 minutes to 8. Okay, down below it says number 1, we're supposed to find the missing numbers. The time is 6:15. It is blank minutes after 6. We can see on our analog clock, it's showing us the hour hand is right after the 6, still in between the 6 and the 7. So we know that the hour is 6. And then our minute hand is pointing at the 3, which we know is 5, 10, 15. So that tells us, see the part of the clock that's shaded orange? That's the part we want to look at if we're trying to figure out how many minutes after the hour it is. So that tells us it is 15 minutes after 6. So 15. Okay. And then number 2 says the time is 5:45. It is blank minutes before 6. So now this time we're seeing the clock is 5:45 because the hour hand is in between the 5 and the 6. Notice it's very close to the 6, but it's not on the 6 yet. That means it is still in the hour of 5. Okay, and we can tell from our minute hand, it's way over here on the 9. So we know that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So this analog clock is showing us the time 5:45. And since we're trying to figure out now how many minutes is it before 6 o'clock, we're going to be looking at this white part that's shaded white. So we are going to start at the 45 and we're going to count how many minutes is it until that minute hand gets up to the 12, because when that happens, we know it'll be 6 o'clock. So we're starting here. We're going to count 5, 10, 15. And another way to do that is 60 minus 45, which is also 15. So it is 15 minutes before 6. And then these little green boxes, we would just write the same thing. 6:15 is 15 minutes past 6. 5:45 is 15 minutes to 6. Okay, let's keep finding our missing minutes. Number 3, the time is 3:25, and we can see that on the digital clock. There's our hour, there's our minutes. It is blank minutes after 3. Well, of course, it is 25 minutes after 3, right, guys? So 25, and then number 4 says 3:30. The time is 3:30. So that's another way to say 3:30, because 30 is right in the middle. It is exactly half of 60, and we know there's 60 minutes in an hour, so there's 30 minutes in a half an hour. So one way we could say 3:30 is 3:30. And we know that since 60 minus 30 is 30, that there are 30 minutes left until we get to 4 o'clock, right? So it is 30 minutes before 4. So it's 30 minutes past 3 and 30 minutes before 4. Or we could say 30 minutes to 4. Okay, so on these ones, they want us to write past or to. So we have to look at the clock and figure out, is it past or to whatever number they're giving us. So number 5 says 8:07. Oh, they're telling us the time right there. Okay, 8:07 is 7 minutes blank 8. So we have to figure out, is it 7 minutes past 8 or is it 7 minutes to 8? Now we can tell it is past 8, right, guys? Because it's 8:07. So this one we're going to write past. Whoops. Just kidding. I'm going to write past for that one. It is 7 minutes 8. Okay, number 6. 2:37. Notice there's our hour hand in between the 2 and the 3. That tells us it's still in the hour of 2. And our minute hand is over here just past that 7. We know that that would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 36, 37. So 2:37 is 23 minutes blank 3. Is it 20 minutes past 3 or to 3? Well, we can see that it's not quite 3 yet, right? This hour hand or minute hand, has to get all the way up here before it's going to be 3 o'clock, because right now it's 2:37. So it is 23 minutes to or before 3 o'clock. All right, number 7, 5:05 is 5 minutes. We know it's 5 minutes past 5. Okay. And then number 8, 7:30 is 30 minutes blank 8. And our helper friend is reminding us a whole hour is 60. 60 minus 30 is 30. So we know 7:30 is 30 minutes past 7. It's also 30 minutes to 8 or before 8. Okay guys, here is the Let's Practice page for this lesson 16.1. And notice I did a couple of the ones on top so you can see how to do them. Up there it wants us to tell the time in 2 ways. So this first one, we can tell that the time is, well, look at the hour hand. It's not quite at the 5 yet. It's still in between the 4 and the 5. And the minute hand is way over here pointing at the 10. So we know it's still in the hour of 4 because it's not yet at the 5. It's not yet up here at the 12. So this time is showing us 4:50. And the 2 ways that I could say that, well, there's more than 2 ways, but I could say it's 10 minutes to 5. And I know that because here's our minute hand. It's right here and we need to get it up to the 12, and that's 5:10. In 10 minutes, it'll be 5 o'clock. So it's 10 minutes to 5. It's also 50 minutes past 4. Okay, and then number 3, we see on this digital clock, the time is 3:57. So we can say that that is 3 minutes to 4 because we know that 60 minus 57 is 3. Or we could count up from 57, 58, 59, 60. So we know in 3 minutes, it's going to be 4 o'clock. So it's 3 minutes to 4. And it's also 57 minutes past 3. Okay, I hope that makes sense. You can type your answers anywhere where it says type your answer, or you see a question mark. So let me just show you how to do this one as well. So it says tell the time in a different way. 5 minutes past 11 would be 11:05. Right, guys? So we would write 11, and then don't forget your 2 little dots, and then 05. Okay, so that's an example of how to do the ones down here. I hope that makes sense, and I will see you soon.